Hi, Emily. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. Harper University. I recognize a few faces in the audience. Harper, wave at me if you can hear me. Can you wave if you can hear me at Copperbelt University? Thank you. Great to see you all. So there are other students that will be coming in a few minutes, but for the sake of time, Emily is a college student, as you all are as well, and she is in the U.S. and on Eastern time, so it's um, 8:15 in
8:15.
the morning in the United States, where she is on the East Coast, and she has class after her presentation, but she is one of our U.S. virtual e-interns, and she works with us here at the Embassy in our Public Affairs Department, providing presentations about education in the United States, her experience. She's going to talk about today. And at the end, she'll reserve a few minutes for questions. So she's going to share her PowerPoint introducing herself, and we'll go from there. Okay? Nod if you can hear me. All right, great. Okay, Emily, why don't can you all see Emily as well?
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, Emily, you can go ahead and get started with the presentation. You can introduce yourself and then share your PowerPoint.
Okay.
If at any point, Copper Belt, if you're not seeing the PowerPoint or the slides are not moving, please let us know.
Okay.
Okay.
It's over to
Hi.
you, Emily.
Okay. Um, Hi, my name's Emily Keane. I'm a senior at the University of Dayton, which is in Ohio in the United States. And I'm studying English and political science here. Yeah, and I guess I'll start the PowerPoint now. Um, okay. Is the PowerPoint?
Yeah, do full screen for us.
Okay. Okay.
Copper, can you see the PowerPoint on full screen?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Let's start it then.
Okay. So here we go. Okay, so like I said, I'm studying English and political science. Some of the things that I'm involved in are campus ministry, the honors program at my school, and the political science department, and then the community standards and civility office. I'm actually originally from Vietnam, but I grew up in Tennessee, and now I'm going to school in Ohio. After I graduate, which I'm graduating in May, I hope to go abroad and work in international development and public policy. Um, so a little bit about my school, the University of Dayton. It's mid-sized, so there's about 8,000 undergraduates and about 2,000 graduate students here. It's in Dayton, Ohio, which is in the Midwest in the United States. It's an urban area, so it's in a smaller city, um, and then it's also private and Catholic. Um, there's a big community and friendly environment here, um, and some notable things about the University of Dayton is we were the first to have a human rights major in the country. Um, it's a big research university. And it's very focused on the Marianists, which is the Society of Mary, um, which is a part of the Catholic Church. Okay. So,
Emily, for some reason, in advancing the slides, I'm not really seeing the advancing of the slides. I just want to know if Copperbelt can see what slide you're on and what they see.
Okay.
Copperbelt, what slide do you see? What do you see on this on your screen?
5 steps in which to apply for scholarship. Yes.
Okay. Does it say step 1, research your options? Is it that slide, or have you seen any slides that I've seen? Go forward.
Yes, we have.
Okay.
Yes.
Emily, just a moment. We're going to ensure that the slides are moving forward.
Okay.
They can't see the slides moving forward.
They said they can.
Okay, Emily, can you see your full screen? Maybe
Sorry?
Can you switch to full screen to share? Are you sharing your PowerPoint? Just switch your PowerPoint to full screen.
That's fine.
You said change it to full screen?
Yes. CBU, what are you seeing on the? Because we're seeing Emily's slide, you'll be seeing it as well.
Yes, we are seeing it.
You're seeing what she's sharing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
What does the slide say at the top? What's the title?
How did I choose?
Okay,
Yes.
great. We can go forward. Initially, I couldn't see that. Okay, Emily, you proceed. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. So, should I go back to full screen or?
Yeah, I mean, yes, full screen is what we want to see.
Okay. Okay. So, there are a lot of different factors when choosing a university. And so some of these are the main ones that I wanted to look at. So geography and location is a big one because there are, thousands of universities across the United States. So I looked at a big city versus a smaller city. Dayton is kind of a mid-sized city. And the location, is it walkable down to like a downtown area? Do you need a car? Those type of questions. Size. So the University of Dayton has 8,000 undergrads, so that's a mid-sized school. I kind of wanted a school that was where I could kind of see a lot of people, meet different people, but it wasn't 20,000 people or more, which is a very big school. There are also schools that have less than 5,000 students, so it just depends on what you want. The atmosphere was a big thing for me choosing college. The University of Dayton has a really friendly, welcoming environment, so that was a main factor. One of the biggest things is if they have the major you want. So at the University of Dayton, we don't have a nursing program, and students that want to pursue a degree in nursing wouldn't want to come here because we don't have that program. So you definitely don't need to know exactly what you want to major in. I came in undecided, but it's definitely important to consider that when choosing a college. Private versus public schools. Private schools, that's what University of Dayton is, versus public. Public schools tend to be a lot bigger. They also tend to be less costly. There are a lot of different factors. They're both very good. It just kind of depends on what you want. I liked that the University of Dayton was Catholic. That was another big factor when I chose a school, whereas public schools don't usually have a religious affiliation. So that's another factor. Liberal arts schools, those tend to have majors that are like classical humanities, or they're not technical degrees, so they usually don't have engineering or nursing or something like that. So that's definitely something you want to look into if you want to go to a liberal arts school or not. Another big thing is the cost. That's probably one of the biggest factors, just because that can really determine where you go or not. So like I said, private schools tend to be a little more costly, whereas public schools aren't. Public schools also may have less scholarships because they have so many students, they don't need to give out as many scholarships. So that can kind of affect the cost as well. And then housing is another thing. Housing, whenever you go to colleges, there's dorms, there's apartments, houses, and that can affect your college experience too, so that's another important thing. So yeah, those are some of the main factors. There are a lot of things that you need to consider when choosing college, but those are some of the main ones I thought of. Okay, and so EducationUSA. This is supported by the U.S. State Department. They provide accurate, comprehensive, and current information, and there are 170 centers in different countries. Sorry. Is there a way I can like read the notes while doing the presentation? Like, I can't see the notes section when I'm full screen.
Well, just change it back to where your slides are on the left side of the screen, and maybe you can take notes below. Okay? Is that better?
Like that?
See, yeah, I can see your screen. CBU, can you still see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, they can still see it. It allows you to see your notes as well.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so there are more than 760,000 international students from around the world studying at colleges and universities, so that makes it a premier international destination for higher education. So there are tons of different colleges, and like there are universities in every state, and they vary widely from what they offer. There are international students from Asia, Europe, Latin America, the Middle East, North America, Oceania, and Africa. So interacting with international students is very prominent on every college campus. So there are thousands of institutions to choose from in the United States, and it's important to look at the university that best meets your academic, financial, personal, and other requirements, like I kind of mentioned before. So with U.S. higher education, something that's different from a lot of other systems is that they are not subject to a central government authority. So every college and university has their own curriculum and their own standards. So they're all very independent and they vary widely. U.S. institutions have a strong reputation for specific programs, facilities, faculty, resources, and so on, but there's no official system to rank them. So when you are looking for your university, you definitely need to look at what university fits what you want best, and not the other way around. So there's also no national entrance examination for U.S. colleges and universities. They all have their own entrance requirements, and that varies. A lot of them will require some type of standardized test, probably a transcript and maybe some essay questions, but it varies from college to college, and some of them don't require a standardized test. It just depends. So you just need to look at what the universities you want to apply to require. Okay. And also for transferring, that's pretty common in the U.S. higher education system. You have to check with both institutions to make sure your credits from the classes you took transfer, but a lot of people will do this, especially when going to a community college and transferring to a four-year college. That's pretty normal. Okay, so when researching your options, you can begin as early as 2 years prior to your U.S. study. And when you're researching your options, important things to do are define your priorities. So going back to what I said are important things to keep in mind. Look at that and see what colleges match with that. And then once you do that, narrow your choices and take the standardized test that is required for those universities. When searching for an academic program, it is important to define your priorities and decide what's most important to you. There are a lot of different factors, and you can use the Define Your Priorities worksheet on EducationUSA to guide you through the main ones. So, here are some important things. Degree type is a big one. There's an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree. Currently I'm pursuing a bachelor's degree, which takes 4 years to complete, whereas an associate's degree only takes 2 years. And like I was saying earlier, community colleges, those will take an associate's degree, just take 2 years. But you could go to community college and then transfer to a four-year college, especially if you want to lower the cost of your overall education. Your academic major is another very important thing to consider. So undergraduate education is based on the concept of liberal arts and sciences. For a bachelor's degree, you have to take general education classes mostly during your first couple years of school, and then you'll take classes more related to your major. So as an English major, I took math and science classes my first couple years along with other humanities classes, and now as I'm finishing up my last 2 years of college, I've focused heavily on my English degree, so taking generally all English classes, but I did have to take other classes as well. And then the cost, again, is very important. So for your tuition and fees, that covers the basic costs, such as facilities, lab equipment, libraries, and other tools. Living costs will be room and board, so your housing, personal expenses, health insurance, and these all vary by universities. Okay, and then financial aid. Mostly every college offers some type of financial aid. It just, again, varies from college to college. There's merit-based, which is dependent on your academic achievement from the past. So your high school GPA, standardized testing, could be you could get a scholarship based on your sports performance from high school, or music or the arts if you were talented in that. And then there's need-based, which is considered based on your family's income. And then another way to help with the cost is on-campus employment. International students can work up to 20 hours per week on campus while school is in session, and 40 hours per week during school vacations and breaks. International students are eligible for on-campus employment while enrolled full-time in an academic program, and depending on the university, there are a variety of on-campus jobs earning $1,500 to $2,500 US dollars per year, which can definitely help with the personal expenses. I know I work on campus. I know most people at school work on campus to help defray the cost of college. Okay, financial aid. You can also look at foreign government or universities to help with financial aid. U.S. government scholarships. You can check the local Fulbright Commission or the U.S. Embassy. And then there's also private sponsors that can help. So corporations or organizations from your home country or the United States. So like I was talking about earlier with the type of institution, there are public or private. So the government does not own or operate any of the academic institutions. There are state universities, so those are the public ones, and then private ones are privately operated institutions. They're both very good, but it just depends on what you want, really. Yeah. Selectivity and size. So, selectivity of an institution is the total percentage of applicants who are accepted. That varies depending on how competitive it is. Some selective institutions, especially like the Ivy Leagues, like Harper, Yale, those accept less than 10% of their applicants. And some other institutions, typically state universities, the majority of them will accept a wider range of applicants. And how competitive will definitely depend on your standardized test scores and past academic performance, such as your high school GPA. And then as far as size, there are small, medium, and large campuses that will affect the number of students in a classroom. So at my university, there are about probably 20 to 30 people is an average amount of people in a classroom. For big state universities with over 20,000 students on campus, there might be 100 people in the classroom. So I know I wanted a medium-sized, I chose a medium-sized university because I knew that I wanted a smaller number of students in the classroom, and that would give me more face-to-face time with professors, and that was important to me. So that, again, that just depends on what you want. Other factors, location. So I'm in the Midwest, which is the Midwest and Northeast are very cold, so that affects your college experience. Definitely gets a lot of snow out here. The West and the South are a lot warmer. The setting, urban city, suburban, residential. I wanted to be in a city where there was more things going on. So that, again, that just depends on what you want. Housing, and then activities or other things to keep in mind. So when researching and narrowing your choices, you might want to choose about 10 to 20 colleges. I applied to 13, and then narrowed my list down from there. You definitely don't want to apply to too many, because it's hard to narrow down your choices after that. So between 10 to 20 would probably be reasonable. So once you've defined your priorities, you can look at the college and university websites just to really research and figure out which universities are best for you. You can find their degree programs, so you can see where what their majors are. You can look at the application procedures, what kind of facilities they have, the housing options. Pretty much everything we've discussed should be on their website. You can also send them an email, but you should only contact admissions representatives directly to ask specific questions that aren't addressed on the website. And the websites are very thorough and should have a lot of information that you need when researching your universities. So for preparing for standardized tests, you should being able to communicate in English is a basic requirement for successful study in the United States. If English is not your native language, universities will ask you to take the test of English as a foreign language, the International English Language Testing System, and the Pearson Test of English. So many undergraduate colleges and universities also require either the SAT or ACT. The SAT reasoning test measures critical reading, writing, and mathematical abilities. The SAT subject test measures your knowledge in a specific subject area, and the ACT measures knowledge on subjects typically taught in U.S. high schools. I took both of them, and I did better on the ACT, so then I used those scores when I was applying to colleges. Typically, they will ask for one or the other, not both. So those are tests you can study for, but it is a main component of most universities' application process. So that is a very important test when applying to colleges. And then your 5 steps to U.S. study are also available on the EducationUSA website to assist you with the admission process. And then you can check it out on social media as well, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter for other updates. And then there's also the Facebook app. And you can also search for an advising center near you to speak with a qualified advisor and receive further assistance. You can simply click on the Ask an Advisor button located on the EducationUSA website to submit your questions virtually to a local EducationUSA advising center. Okay, so are there any questions? I will stop the screen share.
No, actually go to the last slide. Sorry.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I always like to show our social media slide screen as well.
Is it on there or did I?
No, I see you.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, here we go.
You can go back and screen share that.
Here we go.
Okay, wonderful. So, to you, our Copperbelt University audience, the last slide shares all of our websites associated and affiliated with the U.S. Embassy here in Lusaka. You can see our official website, Facebook page, WhatsApp, YouTube, for which this presentation will be on our U.S. Embassy YouTube channel. We're on Twitter, Podbean. There's our email address if you ever want to visit if you're in Lusaka, you want to visit the information. It's very similar to the American Corner. You can send an email and set an appointment to come to the embassy and visit our Information Resource Center, which is housed inside the embassy. And the Education Advisor has an email address. Our Education Advisor is located in the U.S. Embassy. Pamela she can also take questions that you have if you're interested in more information. If you're looking after you finish undergraduate school to applying to graduate school in the U.S. By all means, reach out to our Education Advisor through the email address or through Pamela, who's the American. And we are on Facebook, and we post a lot of good information on Facebook relating to all of our programs, all of our exchange programs. We do Facebook web chats. So follow us on Facebook and keep up with all that we have to offer. And Emily, I'm going to turn it back over to you to see if you have any questions from Copperbelt University. Any questions in the audience about college and university in the U.S. and Emily's experience as a student at the University of Dayton?
No questions at the moment.
No
Okay.
questions?
No questions at the moment.
No.
Okay. Okay. All right. Hello? Hello, can you get us from the American Embassy? There is one question. Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, we want to find out about, since you mentioned the 5 steps in which to have a scholarship for EducationUSA. Now we want to find out, you said on the costs, there are 2 types of costs. Is it, the first one is sponsored, and then the second one is where you have to meet all the expenses. Now, for those who are planning to go and study in USA, what would be your advice? When should they start planning that? they want to go and study in one of the universities. Thank you.
Sorry, can you repeat the last part? When should you what?
When should they start preparing for that time for them to go there and study in the USA?
When should you start preparing to come study here?
Yes.
Like preparing how? Like,
Both financially and anything, maybe if there are tests that they need to write or such things. Yes.
okay. Financially is just gonna depend on yourself. So, if you want to look for scholarships and things like that, and contacting, different corporations or the embassy or those type of things, probably a year or two before. When I started looking at colleges, it was about 2 years before I went to school. So I started kind of researching and then preparing, like looking for scholarships, looking at like financial aid, and then trying to figure out like what I wanted out of college. So I'd say 1 to 2 years. I think I really started the application process about a year before. So yeah, my senior year, so the year before I went to school, that was when I started writing essays and doing that type of stuff. I took the Can you hear me?
Yes, we can get you.
Okay. I took the standardized test 2 years before I went to school, but I didn't start writing essays or like sending any applications in until about a year before. So I'd say like 1 to 2 years, start preparing, researching, and trying to prioritize and work on the application materials. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Anything else? I know I
Yes.
kind of like went quickly about that, but if you have any questions about like college life here, or like the international program here, anything like that, American culture, I can answer your questions.
Yes, my question is based on the degree programs um, that are available and the duration of those degree programs.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
My question is on the degree programs available in one of the universities that we know of and their duration.
Sorry, I didn't get that again. Can you just repeat it one more time?
Yes. My question is, what are some of the programs, degree programs on offer and their duration? Is it 4 years, 5 years?
Oh, okay. So degree programs vary, like for bachelor's degrees or graduate.
Bachelor's degrees.
Bachelor's degree. Okay. So for the more like liberal arts, like English, political science, humanities, those type are 4 years. Really, most of them are 4 years. The only thing that takes 5 years, at least at my school, is engineering. So if you want to be civil engineer, chemical engineer, really any engineering, that takes 5 years, but everything else is 4. Some people can also complete it in 3 years, depending on your schedule, but generally 4 years. And yeah, so engineering is very technical, so they do basically they do 4 years of actual school, but they go out into the field and work for a company for 2 different semesters, so they get like a real world experience, like basically working as a full-time employer. So that's why it takes 5 years.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else?
No.
Thank you so much for the updates, for the information. We are really, really grateful. It's been very,
Yeah.
very educative.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Can you all hear the Carla from the embassy?
No. No, we can't get you.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Get Carla on the line. Hello, Carla. Can you hear us? But we can't get you from this side. Can- All
Okay,
right, thank you so much.
thank you.